Hey everyone, Andrew, day 2 Dryden, recording here again for NikachuMTG with none other than himself, Nikachu for NikachuMTG. We're here today. Happy anniversary to the channel, well, to my side of the channel, is right? Not the channel, no.
Day 2 Dryden
right.
being here.
No, it's a spin-off anniversary. Couple weeks late. We meant to do this a couple weeks ago, but life being what it is.
Like a month late.
We're like a month late. That's okay.
We've both been pretty busy.
Exactly, but we made time for you fine folks to say thank you for your support of the channel and my sort of spin-off of the channel just about a year ago today, so it would have been March 16th, 2018, I guess, was when the pilot episode of Andrew Day 2 Dryden playing Burn for Nikachu went live on YouTube. What a year it's been.
Yeah, year blows by like that.
It does, yeah, it went by really fast. This month went by really fast. I'm like, oh man, I gotta do this stupid video. Yeah, so here we are. There was an Ask Me Anything, a call for an Ask Me Anything video we put up recently. So we've got the results. If you haven't got yours in yet, well, too bad. You got like 2 weeks extra, and then we meant to give maybe 3. So if you didn't get it in by now, well, I mean, I don't know. I don't feel too bad for you. And to the lucky winner who we will announce when we get to their question, we have, as promised, these. Here, I can make sure we have these fancy original 3rd edition. Original 3rd edition Chris Rush lightning bolts. These are the ones I used up until very recently. Signed by none other than yours truly, Andrew Day 2 Dryden. So those are going to be mailed out.
Look at these lightning bolts.
They were gorgeous.
Like before the signature, they looked worthless, but now, I mean, you can't make out a signature at all.
Nobody's
but now they look like they're worth. They could be worth like $20 each. Who knows?
If you sell these for $20 each, tell me, because I will sign more cards to sell for $20 each. I will absolutely tap the market.
Find a new source of revenue.
Absolutely. I'd be like, screw Nikachu. I don't need to make videos for you anymore. I'm just going to sign my own cards. Yeah, that would be great. So if that does happen, let me know. Or, I mean, hey, nobody, I mean, for all the, yeah, if someone at your local game store asks you who this is, I don't know, just tell them it's Chris Rush's signature. Who knows?
Okay,
what are they going to do? Google Chris Rush's signature? I mean, if they do, then they're a tryhard, and you don't want to be friends with those people anyway.
And
so,
if anyone questions it, you know, you could always say, because apparently Chris Rush changed the signature a few times early in the
oh,
days.
did he? I didn't know that.
Then someone might say, oh, this sort of Sharpie didn't exist back then.
Again, like, what are they, forensic this? Go put your energies to something more useful. Anyway.
Alright, let's get into the Q&A.
Alright, let's get into the Q&A.
Questions.
Yes, I know none of these. I haven't looked at none of these questions, by the way.
I've looked at all of them.
I know none of them. I don't know what's happening. It could be, you know, what's that show where they bring out people from your past?
Well, I don't know.
They don't have it on TV anymore. Well, no one has TV anymore. Like, Story of Your Life or whatever. This could be Story of Your Life, and I have no idea what's coming. Anyway, okay. Alright, round 1.
Alright, round 1. We've got Kioma asking, we keep talking about blue cards in Modern Horizons, but are there any cards for Burn that you're hoping to see? And if so, what kind of stuff are you expecting to see?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't know about expecting. I am a, especially in my friend group, Nikachu knows this, I am a notoriously bad speculator. I am the worst. I think
he keeps asking me questions like, should I buy it? Should I sell it? I'm like, I don't know. Just do whatever you want.
Yeah, leave me alone.
I don't want to be liable for your financial losses. Don't sue me.
Yeah, it was horrible. Every time I'm like, oh, they're definitely going to reprint Chalice of the Void. I got to sell them. And like, nope. Or like, oh man, they're definitely going to reprint Fetches in Battle for Zendikar.
They're definitely going to do something for Modern Horizons. And then now they're not going to reprint anything modern legal in Horizons.
Right, yeah, exactly. At least that one I kind of held off on. But anyway, so
that was a fluke.
That was just because
it's the first time you don't have anything else to sell.
Yeah, I sold everything.
The inventory's all gone.
Literally a fire sale, pun intended. So I don't know what to expect. I'm not going to make an expected prediction, other than, I don't know, like what's probably the most obvious thing that they could maybe try to put in. I think people have been talking about things like Hydroblast. So if they put in Hydroblast, they would probably put in Pyroblast. I guess if I had to make a guess, I'd say that as far as a red card. There's lots of things, a lot of blue cards people are talking about, right? Force of Will, things like that. A lot of those things make sense for a lot of reasons. But as far as red cards go, because of a blue card, I would guess Pyroblast. In terms of what I hope to see, I've been saying for a couple of years that I would love to see Sulfuric Vortex in Modern. What?
I knew exactly.
Oh
what you were
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
say.
See, Nika, you hear about this all the time. All the time.
Why isn't Sulfuric Vortex not in Modern?
It should be. And then Rodney is always like, it'd be too OP. Like, what are you kidding me? On turn 3, all
man enchantment.
Yeah, deal 2 damage for 3 mana at sorcery speed. Like, you're dead by then.
Modern Burn basically almost has everything anyway.
Well, like people saw in my Legacy video this week, sometimes that's not enough.
I don't think it'd be busted. Like
it would not be busted. It would 100% not be busted. It'd be super fair. Super. They just put that same effect on Tybalt. That can't get life. That's the only reason that thing is even.
No, but it doesn't deal 2 damage.
It doesn't deal. No,
that's different.
Well,
it's not this ticking time bomb.
Right, but yeah, okay, that's fair. But the point is you get outraced by a million decks in Modern. The 2 damage isn't even. It's arguably not even the most valuable part. I mean, it depends what you're playing against. Anyway, Sulfuric Vortex. That is the one card I would love to see that I actually expect to see. I think something like Fire Blast is way too greedy. Like I can't imagine. Can you imagine like Dredge? Like. Oh my god! Like I can't even imagine.
I don't even know if Dredge wants this. You have to sacrifice 2 basic mountains or 2
no,
mountains?
just mountains.
I don't think. They
Right.
care.
Sorry. Maybe Dredge is a bad example, but like it's a red deck that's super aggressive and crazy, and they could hypothetically like Conflagrate and then like Fire Blast.
I think we're gonna see some cards like this out of Modern Horizons. I don't know which ones they're gonna pick, but like. I think Burn can take a lot of cards. There's just so many hate cards against Burn. That...
Yeah, but I would love to see Fire Blast. I don't think it'll happen. If any of the normal Legacy stuff gets printed, I think Chain Lightning or Sulfuric Vortex are things that I would like to see that I actually think have a chance of getting reprinted.
If Chain Lightning is reprinted, what are we going to call this? 24 bolt?
I'm okay with that. I'm totally down with it.
How many bolts they have?
Something like 20. Might be 24 with Chain Lightning. Oh man, this is good. I'm getting happy just thinking. This is a good start. Who asked this question?
This was Kioma.
Good job, Kioma. Good start. All right.
All right, moving on.
Kioma was not the winner. We're
gonna name the winner when we get
to them, or when we finish their question.
I guess when we finish the question.
Okay.
So you got to keep hanging on to the end. So Thomas Lou 9000, what do you study? How did you meet John? Great content, by the way.
Oh, thanks. Really should have started with great content, and then, by the way, should have been the question, but what are you going to do? What do I study? Oh, man, I study everything. I have a degree in Greek and Roman history that I got from a university here in Winnipeg. So I really like history, but I'm also really into science. So I'm sort of all over the map. Lately, I've been doing a lot more stuff with science, but I really like history, generally speaking. Specifically, ancient history, specifically Roman history. If anyone ever wants to talk about Roman military strategy during, I'm not kidding, during the first 2 centuries CE, I know a lot about that.
When did Sun Tzu write their book?
Wasn't that in like 3000?
I have no idea.
BCE?
Was that even earlier than where you're studying?
Oh yeah.
So people learn from Sun Tzu?
Probably. I don't know. That's like Asian. That's like, I know it's thousands of years. Rome was like roughly like 800 like BCE to well, I don't know. Some people argue that it's still around. Some people argue no, they do. Some people argue that Rome
It's still here.
Some people argue Rome fell in the 5th century. Some people argue they lasted until like 14th or 15th century when Constantinople fell. So like people argue about all this stuff. It's a bunch of academics just screwing with each other. Anyway, so that's what I study. What was the second part?
How did you meet me?
Oh God.
At FNM.
Yeah, honestly, at FNM, at the local, like the...
Well, it's our Thursday night FNM.
Right, yeah. The store in Winnipeg where we live that has sort of the biggest reputation for being like a spike, like a competitive store. I got into Modern, and that's a whole other story we won't get into. But eventually I found my way into Merfolk. I remember playing like a million years ago in like 98, 99. That Lord of Atlantis was a thing. It was still in Modern, or was still around. It was Modern League. I'm like, oh, Merfolk, like that's awesome, right? Cool. Total Timmy pony like attraction to the deck. So I come out and start playing in these events. John is the only other person playing this deck. And so we started to sort of talk about this, and I'm like, man, I'm going like 0-4 every week. And John's going like 4-0. So I'm like, what's happening? Like, what's the difference? So we start talking about things. I'm like, what do you think about this card, this card? So we start talking about this. And then the big thing came when I really wanted to get into playing more competitive Magic, was Grand Prix Omaha in 2015.
2014.
Was it 14? It was 15.
Yes, it was 2014 because 2015 eventually was when...
I would challenge you on that, but you might be right.
Przemek Notsinski.
Right, but we went in like January. It was in like January.
No, it was in November. It was like right around... It was actually right when this channel started. It was really close. Like, you look at the super early videos, I had like sort of a tournament report of it. It was a November event.
I don't want to stop the video just to Google this and challenge you, but I would challenge you that it was in 2015. Maybe in okay, you know what? Maybe December. All right, okay, and then it would have been.
Maybe it's
all right. Either way,
I think it's late November.
Either way, we could look it up.
Oh yeah, we're gonna look it up.
Okay,
MTG Elo project.
I was gonna say it's don't look it up. My records are so bad. Don't look it up. I did so badly, especially that tournament.
Bella day 2 is.
Oh yeah, you could say that again. Oh my god. Anyway, so we went to this Grand Prix. Because it was a horrible drive, but it was somewhat within driving distance. Omaha was like, what was it, 12 or something like 12 or 10 hours away by car. And someone doesn't drive, which meant someone had to do all the driving.
Yeah.
So that was rough.
I've got Merfolk, he's good at driving.
You got to get the Merfolk player to the tournament, right? We all got to play our part. So anyway, so that's how so we kind of bonded a fair amount, I think, on that trip.
It was a great trip.
It was a great trip. And yeah, so that was the big thing. So we sort of bonded over Merfolk, and then eventually I ended up wanting to sort of play a different deck, and then now we got these different archetypes on the channels, and there we go. But yeah, it was
actually at the time you were playing Affinity and Merfolk.
That's true, actually. Yeah.
And you got pissed, like just losing the Stony Silence, so then you dumped the den.
It was horrible. It was ridiculous. It was all a bunch of non-games. I wanted to play Magic, and the game basically came down to: did you play Stony Silence? Okay, then I won. Did you play Stony Silence? Okay, then I lost. So I'm not playing Magic. I'm playing Did you draw? I play Stony Silence, which to me wasn't Magic. So yeah, no, it's true. At that point, my second deck, actually, yeah, well, I don't want to. That might be someone's question.
Well, whatever. We'll just.
Oh yeah, okay, I'll go next. Okay,
knows?
So at that
don't
point,
know what the hell they're asking.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
So okay, at that point, my second deck was Affinity. Because it was super strong back then too. And I did own Burn cards. I was like slowly buying modern staples, and I ended up owning Burn strictly because I had a bunch of friends who used to play Magic when they were we were all like in high school and teenagers, and I was trying to get them to come up to FNMs. And like, because I always have more fun when my friends are there. Always, like, especially at the FNM. Like, if I'm gonna play competitive leagues online, okay, whatever. At home, I can be. Have
every
coffee.
Day in group chat. You're gonna be in the tournaments
every day, right? Yeah.
And then I show up. No, did I show up for? No. I just went to the 1.5K.
Yeah.
And it's like, and no one else.
It was goes. Yeah. I was bad. Yeah. I don't think catfish is the right term, but I definitely teased you. Like, oh, you're gonna go to the tournament? You're gonna go to the tournament? And then you go and I don't.
Well, I was going anyway.
Right. So anyway, I own all these Burn cards because I wanted people who I used to play Magic with and who I've been longtime friends with who don't play anymore to be able to just show up and, for the most part, pick up a deck and just try to make a go of it. Right. So I'm like, hey, here's the thing: if you have a Goblin Guide, play that. If you don't, bolt them in the face. Right. Simple for the most part.
Easy.
Enough that they could make it work. So I owned all these cards, and that's the only reason I even owned all these Burn cards to begin with. And then I started playing with the deck because it was really, really powerful, especially with Wild Nikachu and Atarka's Command back then. That was a good time. I missed that version of the deck and that modern metagame. I really do. But yeah, so that was kind of our origin story.
I actually didn't know about that, the origin of the Burn deck.
No, yeah, that's the only reason.
You were just pissed with Affinity and it's like, well, you know what, I still want to play aggro deck.
No,
it was some mindless interactions, just bolting people.
No, it was honestly like, well, what cards do I still own? Well, I still own these, right? So yeah,
still have all these,
and I still have them. So yeah, and not these anymore. These were my first ones. Some lucky person is gonna get these off, you know.
All right, Yeah, those are the originals.
Yeah.
So, moving on to Landwalk in on Sunshine. Look at the
name.
absolute unit of a man. Any plans with magic going further in life?
I was too busy flexing in front of the camera. Yeah. Sorry, what was the question?
Any plans with magic going further in life? Oh yeah, he's really looking to become a MPL member.
Oh yeah, Ben Stark, move out of the way. You know, Andrea Mengucci. This guy's got nothing. Yeah, no. You know, the big problem, honestly, is being 32 now and not having any like serious pro tour, you know, success or pedigree or anything. The other problem, and this might come up with another question. The biggest problem is that we live in Winnipeg. Winnipeg is the worst place in North America. There might be some places in the world that get even less GPs and stuff, but Winnipeg is the worst place in North America that's like a major city to live if you want to play Magic. We are near the only major tournament...
competitive Magic.
Competitive Magic. Yeah. The only place we're anywhere near is Grand Prix Minneapolis. There's one of those a year, and it's like an 8-hour drive. That's the closest tournament ever. If you live anywhere on the East Coast, on like anywhere in North America, you can go to tournaments maybe a few times a year. We can't. It's brutal. You have to fly. You have to basically fly.
There's no way around it. It's very expensive to on any regular basis.
So it's super expensive. So it's actually super, super prohibitive to be a Magic, competitive Magic pro hopeful and live in...
That's why we all become content creators.
Yeah, that's... Yeah.
I'm a content creator, you're a content creator. Samard's a content creator. Now got the Spike Feeders.
Yeah, the Spike Feeders are from
crew.
Winnipeg. Yeah.
Everyone's going to be a content creator soon.
Yeah, yeah. We don't have, you know, any big major cities nearby, but we have the internet. So at least there's that. But yeah, so honestly, I don't have a lot of big plans. The only big plan I have that I kind of want to try to work is something you and I have talked about, is getting my own editing capabilities down. And because what happens is all the videos I do, John actually edits all these videos. He does a ton of work. It's ridiculous. He is the workhorse of this channel. It's not even... It's not
machine.
Even... This guy is a machine. He's a freak in the best.
So if there's any videos missing for a day, you know there's something really overburdening.
Yeah, and stop tweeting me. Hey, when the video is coming out? Go ask him. I don't know.
Yeah,
I recorded them like 5 days ago.
I'm the guy. They send to me. I do the rest.
Yeah.
Of it.
So we're thinking about changing that though. I want to start to be able to edit my own videos and things like that. And if that happens, then we might actually have like a full sort of break, and there might be a separate Patreon, YouTube channel, all this stuff. We'd obviously collaborate regularly and talk to each other. You know, we see each other in real life and we text like every day because we're friends. But the big plan right now is over the summer, hoping to learn how to edit videos on my own, and then I can sort of do that and take that off Nikachu's plate. That's the big plan.
I'll show them the ropes.
Whew.
But if you make your own channel, it'll be good for them because probably you'll make even more content.
Yeah, there's been a lot of times when I've wanted to make videos, or I've had like, oh, this might be like a neat video idea.
You just make anything.
Yeah, I could literally just make anything, right? Like recently there was stuff on Modern Horizons I thought about doing, or the London Mulligan rule. I still want to do a video on that, but like coming up, that's right. And it's harder for me to throw that at you when I know how busy you are also with school and all these other videos, and then I can just do this on my own time and you know, autonomously, right? So hopefully that happens sometime in the next year. Hopefully by the time we have anniversary number 2, that's something we're doing. But yeah, that's the big long-term, medium-term plan.
All right.
Also not a winner of the lightning bolts. Sorry.
Don't say that. The winner will just know.
Yeah, okay,
You're just making everyone feel like losers.
Yeah, you're all right. I was gonna say, but that makes the winner feel so great, right? They feast on their tears and sadness.
So, Andre Davies, many thanks, Andrew, for your contribution to the channel. As a Merfolk player, I enjoy the variety that the three of you bring to the channel. As a request, I would love to you and Jason talk through your paper decks and show them off, as well as possibly go through your burn toolbox, like what Nikachu did a while back. Also, would love to see a poor burn series of modern burn that doesn't run Lavamancer. Burn was always an economical entry to modern, but with prices of fetch lands, fuel going up, and no reprints of the land cycle in sight, it would be great to see your take on the $100 or less list, with your upgrade path to making the list you run. The question is, Mountain the best card in modern? trumping the old saying that Island is the best card in Magic?
Ooh, there's a lot of good stuff in that. Is Mountain the best card in Modern?
I don't know if I don't know if Mountain is the best, but I know that Island is not the best. It definitely has taken a huge dive.
Yeah.
Since its glory days.
I mean, if we're talking basics, I think basic lands, I think Swamp is probably the best thing in Modern. But yeah, out of basics, I'd say Swamp is actually the best, followed by probably, jeez, I don't even know. Maybe Green right now, because Green has answers to everything.
I think I agree. I don't know which one's better. It's probably Black, Green.
Probably Black, Green, Blue, White, Red. Red actually, Red is really good in a lot of decks, but it acts as like, oh, then
White and Red are in the same boat. It's like a complement to the core of other decks.
Yeah, like you've got Is It Phoenix, right? Which is a red card, and there's a lot of red cards in that. But really, it's like the Thing in the Ice and all the cantrips that are powering that out. So I don't, that's really the engine of the deck. Red's in a bad spot right now, but I mean, I say that all the time. I'm always a glutton for punishment. I'm like, woe is me.
What's Grixis Deathstroke gonna do without Red? What's Dredge gonna do without Red?
Right? Yeah, can you imagine Grixis Death Shadow?
How many decks splash Red?
A lot.
So Red might be up there. Maybe Red's higher than Forest. Maybe Red's highest.
Yeah, maybe.
But the ultimate, it's the glue to all these decks functioning.
All the half marks, all the...
You take Lightning Bolt out of the format, what the hell do I do now?
Well, Lightning Bolt really hits more people than it does creatures, right? Fatal Push and Path, and then you just like Gurmag Angler them to death. I don't know, it's a tough one. No, what's the best card in Modern right now? That's good. That's
probably
good.
Bolt. Still Bolt.
You think it's Bolt?
Oh no, no, and it could be Thoughtseize and Inquisition. I'm not sure. I'd have to look.
Honestly, it could be Amulet. It could be Primeval Titan.
It's not Primeval Titan.
You don't think so?
I mean, I think the deck is good, but I don't think it's defining the format.
We're talking about just the card.
Just one powerful card?
Yeah. Oh wait, no, Mox Opal. Ban it.
Yeah, Mox Opal. Fuck.
Ban Mox Opal.
I'm tired of this.
Oh, I'm tired.
Hey, it's the Wizards always said that it's a problem. They're gonna keep an eye on it, so the days are numbered. I don't know if the price collapsed after that announcement, but like it should have. I'd be very concerned if I was holding on. I'm not gonna say anything else to influence anyone's financial decisions.
Right, yeah, don't remember. I said earlier how bad I am at speculating, so don't ask me about that.
But like, I mean, if they admit, well, maybe it's just good for everyone to know. Wizards said that they're paying attention to Ancient Stirrings and Mox Opal. They understand that these two cards could be a problem.
The funny thing is, they said that 2 banned and restricted announcements ago. They didn't say anything about it in the most recent one. I think is ridiculous.
Well, they give them more time. They said they're going to look at it.
That's true. They did say that. Yeah.
They'll spend another year. I think for Modern, they don't do anything drastic for a year.
No, because I don't think they care.
They do one big thing a year.
Yeah. And what's the start of this question though? There was something early on.
They want to see how do you make a poor burn.
Oh right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you know what? I am gonna do. I don't want to get too much into it because I am gonna do a video on this. I'll do a video on my toolbox and my deck. I am gonna do a video on this. Poor folk. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna make gameplay videos of it, but I could make a deck list and upgrade options. Yeah, I could do that. That's definitely, again, that's a good example of something that I kind of wanted to do, but finding the time and being able to edit and everything myself and kind of get control of that, it's something that's hard to do with our current setup. But that's a really good example of extra content outside of just gameplay that I would like to start being able to expand and do a bit more. But I will say that I will try. There will be a toolbox and a paper card video, but yeah. Those are on its way, though I can't promise an estimated time of arrival.
All right, so next we got Will Young. Congrats on your 1-year anniversary. Here are a few questions I want to ask you, and possibly Jonathan. How did you first...
We're not going to be able to schedule Nikachu, I'm sorry. He's very busy. He has...
How did you first meet Jonathan, Rodney, Mark, Madison, and Adam from Team WoW? I'm surprised they can nail all...
Yeah, that's impressive.
Are you an insider?
Wow.
Oh no, I know a Will, but I didn't know if their last name's Young. But and how was Team WoW formed? And what is your most expensive card you have ever owned?
Still the same card.
Okay, we'll still we still have a few more questions, but we'll
Okay, so we'll go with that. Okay, so we covered our origin story.
Yeah.
And we were kind of the first couple of members, truthfully.
Yeah. We are the founders of Team WoW.
Woo!
Absolute founding founders.
So Rodney came in again on a Grand Prix trip. We knew Rodney, right? We've seen him at local events and stuff like that. But Rodney and Mark kind of knew each other a bit better because of going to Magic trips, and I think they knew each other through like a social circle. Oh yeah, they did. I won't go into that. Mark dated someone in Rodney's family. I don't remember. I think it was a cousin or something. Like something like that. Whatever. Okay. So that's how another way that Mark and Rodney knew each other. And then we all went to Grand Prix Oklahoma.
That was a Grand Prix Oklahoma.
Grand Prix Oklahoma. All of us went. And again, we kind of knew each other, right? We'd see each other at the competitive events, the local events.
I can't remember. Was 2015 or 2016?
That one I don't remember.
Who knows? Who cares?
Yeah, that one. You can look that one up too. Another ELO nightmare. But so after that, again, we had this like really cool experience. We really had fun talking and road tripping and playing Magic with each other. It was really, really great. So we kind of had this cool bonding experience off of that. And Madison, and then so we kind of got over that. The name Team WoW came from the fact that we used to just like make fun of each other a lot and just give each other like.
Well, I don't know how this is the thing or what's the origin of this.
Yeah,
but in Winnipeg, if someone does something offensive,
in a
joking way, in a sarcastic way, people go wow. And anyway, our group did it a lot, minus me. But it was just something
I never thought of that actually.
Everyone's
never did it.
Everyone's crying wow. And I'm like, well, we all say, the whole team says wow, so it's going to be Team WoW.
It's literally what it was. Yeah, just us making fun of each other, just being jerks to each other with the understanding that it's a joke, and everybody else going like, wow, right? So that's literally all it was, Team WoW. And Madison, oh, go ahead.
Well, Adam and Madison got wrapped in when we went to a Minneapolis tournament.
Yeah.
Adam just created his cube, and he wanted us to play. And I think Adam, he did drive back with us, but that was the first time that Adam was with us. Well, anyway, that's how he got integrated. And then Madison drove back with us, and then since then, Adam was making a cube group, and then slowly absorbed us to fill in the four, and then eventually Madison and Adam became part of Team WoW.
And Madison, we also knew pretty well because she was
part of the Spike Feeders. You can go check her.
Yeah, also
Madison GG Gibbons. I don't think she carried the Team WoW nickname to
Spike
Feeders.
Probably not. She should. Come on, a little cross promotion. We know where you came from. We know your origin story, Madison. Don't try to duck us.
Yeah, where your spark came from.
Yeah. But she was an employee and manager at the local game store, Fusion Gaming in Winnipeg. So we saw her a lot there too as well. So yeah, so that's Madison's. Or in the case, and
so yeah,
the more stuff.
No, what is the most expensive card you've ever owned? That's a quick one.
Bayou. I own a copy of Bayou,
and it keeps going up.
And it keeps going up. I think I got it for like $100 for something years ago. And
Canadian dollars.
Canadian dollars.
That means it doesn't mean it's not worth shit in America.
And I thought to myself, like, what am I doing buying this? Like it's reserve list. Okay, I'll put it in like Commander deck or something, like a format I like.
Doesn't go in burn. Doesn't go in burn.
Right. Something I've never played. And I still own it. So I guess it's still the most. It's still. I own a few duels, but none of them tap for blue.
So, do you have any pre-game rituals, superstitions before a game of MTG?
No. Next.
Okay, and hope to see you, Jonathan, and the rest of Team WoW in future videos.
Oh. Yep. I wonder if I should get a pre-game ritual. I've heard about like sports psychology and stuff. How sometimes just having some kind of like a get in the zone thing is a good idea.
I thought you did have one.
Oh, you know what?
You seem to listen to a lot of music when you're losing at a GP.
Yeah, I know
you do that.
I had this idea when we first went to GPs. This was. I haven't done this for a few years now, but I used to have like rain recordings. You know.
Oh, is that what you're listening to?
Yeah, I was always listening to that.
I thought you were listening to music.
Well, it is music in a way, right? Like it's an audio file, but yeah, it's just rainforest noises and stuff like that. Trying to like stay calm and
natural music.
Yeah, like. Whew. Plus, it's like really nice because you're in this smelly, artificially lit, concrete walled convention center. You can imagine you're in like, you know, the rainforest with all the fresh air, and yeah. I used to do that.
Pretend you're.
I used to do that. Yeah, I used to do that and went hard 4-5 in these GPs on day one. So I was like, "Hey, this obviously is not working. We're cutting.
It's not actually helping.
It's not helping at all. We're cutting this out." So I used to do that, but no, I don't have any rituals at the moment. So usually I'll try and go for a walk. I guess there's that. I'll try to get up and move around because you're sitting for like an hour straight sometimes. But
yeah.
nothing official.
All right, so moving on to Atalo3. Love your content and the way you describe your decision making during play. Your vids have made me a better Magic player. One question for you: do you have any predictions on what Modern Horizons can bring to Burn? Anything from Legacy or a completely new card? Thank you, and look forward to more of your content.
We kind of dealt with most of that. Thanks for the question, by the way. We dealt with most of that content earlier, talking about Modern Horizons.
Yeah, so what kind of new card out of
thin
air?
Completely new card out of thin air.
You have to mention at least something like this in the group chat.
Well, the funny thing too is I've had
one mana Eidolon.
Ooh.
No, that's not happening.
One mana Eidolon.
At that point, it gets stupid.
One mana Eidolon that deals 3 to you, 2 to the opponent.
I think more. I
do that.
More fair would be just one mana Eidolon deals 1 damage to each person instead.
I'd probably be okay with that too, actually. If it's a 1/1 with haste and the Eidolon ability, so like
it's like the requirement is to convert mana cost 2 or less. I don't know. Maybe this is just now too crappy.
I think the 3 or less is really.
I mean, still nails Storm and other stupid decks.
Yeah, this is true. It's funny because I've had a Merfolk card that I've wanted for literally forever. That was always my answer. Was a blue Urborg
City
card.
of Atlantis.
City of Atlantis. Every land is an island. Everything taps for blue. But for red,
Merfolk's waiting for that too.
Oh yeah, that'd be so good.
Oh yeah, this was the Merfolk card.
Yeah, that's the Merfolk card. Off the top of my head, just trying to think about like what I would like to do. I would like some sort of conditional threaten effect, like an active treason effect, that would cost like 2, because 3 isn't really playable, and big giant creatures are usually what end up doing me in, or some kind of a
risk factor not good enough for you?
No.
Alright.
I'm pumping 6 mana into this thing, and then just dying with it on the stack or something like that. I do like Risk Factor, actually. Risk Factor is a really, really good card, just in terms of like a creative way to get red card advantage, potentially. I think I would like some kind of a Skullcrack effect at 1 mana. It doesn't have to be 3 damage. Maybe like 1 red, it's a shock instead.
Okay.
Right? It's a shock that has the Skullcrack effect, because there's so many times when you're trying to hold up mana and you just can't, and having it cost 1 less would be really, really relevant.
I was about to suggest, how about it's 1 mana, but it's sorcery speed, but that makes it useless.
That makes it completely useless. Or
players can't gain life.
I mean, you know what the crazy thing is? Even at 1 mana and sorcery, like it's not like you could cast it and then attack into a Worm Coil engine, right? Like it isn't unplayable.
Okay, yeah.
It isn't completely unplayable at that, like, which shows you how good this effect needs to. I mean, it's pretty.
They're trying to upgrade Rift Bolt, damn
right?
it.
Yeah,
They're trying to upgrade.
Yeah,
Rift
forget
Bolt.
upgrading Rift Bolt. Upgrade Skullcrack. Like let me get right with Sulfuric Vortex. Those kind of effects. I would love that.
Well, how about if you want to update Skullcrack, players can't gain life or damage can't be prevented, and it deals 3 damage to anything. That's an upgrade to Skullcrack.
Yeah, no, it is actually. Yeah, no, it is. There are times when you side them out against creature matchups because if you need to interact with the board, yeah, you just can't. Yeah, that would be an upgrade. Absolutely, that would make it way more playable. Then it would be fine to just main deck 4 copies actually.
Listening R&D.
Yeah, let's do it. Come on. Anyway, so that's.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right, moving on. We got Beglaws. I like your content, man. Keep it up. 2 questions for you. When will you make your own YouTube channel? You probably have already enough of a following and experience to manage your own by now. Have you considered it? Well, he has enough of a following, but I don't think he has enough experience.
No, the experience is really the thing, right? I need to know how to edit and
use YouTube. I mean, he hasn't touched YouTube ever.
No.
He has experience with Twitter.
Yes. I had 1 viral tweet.
Yes, I had 1 viral tweet.
And it was Merfolk based.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, earlier in the video we covered that. So hopefully that does happen the next year by anniversary 2.
And do you play with any other tier 1 modern deck other than Burn?
I used to own a million different cards, modern decks. I used to just buy staples if they were relatively cheap, or just because I liked the idea of mixing and matching.
He still has this damn thing for some reason. I don't know why he owns Tarmogoyf, but he literally has a playset of Tarmogoyf.
I never cast that card, and I've owned it.
Really?
I've never cast it.
Wow, that's
it's
embarrassing.
completely useless. Oh wait, that's not true. I tried to make it work in Burn one time. I tried to make a red. Yeah, I tried to make it work. Okay,
because that's what he likes to do. He likes jamming these expensive modern staples into like other decks.
Yeah, so I used to do that. So that's why I was able to, move into Burn. Right, I owned this Burn deck anyway, and that's why I owned Affinity at one point. Which I when it was a game, I liked it, and it was kind of like a puzzle. So there's Merfolk, obviously. It's funny before I owned Goyfs. I owned like all the other. I own Inquisitions and all these other cards too, but I don't really play too many other like tier decks of any kind. I guess there's like Wizards, but I never. That's not really its own thing. Yeah.
Do you ever play any other tier 1 decks? Well, who says Burn's a tier 1 deck now? Is it? Maybe it is.
Wow.
Whatever. It comes in and out.
See, that's a good example of wow. What do you mean a tier 1 deck? Burn's not a tier 1 deck. Wow.
I don't know.
Shots fired.
It feels like right now in Modern, it's either tier 0 or it's in the pile of.
Yeah. That's actually. I think that's a good.
Are you busting the format or you're not?
Not even necessarily the deck, your hand. All right, did you get turn 0 hand? Okay, great. Or a tier 0 hand. Yeah, so there isn't too many like strictly normal like archetypes that I've ever really owned aside from Affinity, Merfolk, and Burn.
That's it.
None that I can think of. I never played Storm or anything. Combo decks. Yeah, no, not really.
Just Merfolk, Affinity, Burn, and Jank.
Yeah, lots of jank.
Jank.
Yes.
You definitely could have made a Saffron Olive looking channel.
Yeah, if Saffron Olive hadn't come around, I could have stolen his thunder there. I could have been the Saffron Olive of Winnipeg.
Yeah. All right, so
he's just better than I am at that content stuff. He's great.
Love your content. I recently got 9th out of 79 people at a Modern IQ, and I couldn't have done it without all your videos and knowledge that you have shared. Please don't stop making videos. Question: what is your favorite card based on artwork in Magic?
Ooh. I know my favorite flavor text. My favorite art. That's a hard one. We might have to come back to that because I actually might have to think about it. I don't know.
Well, you gotta think about it now. Where's your Burn deck? Just quickly look through the deck, see what pops out at you.
There was a. Okay, actually, this is totally new. I don't know what the name of the card is. There's a card coming up in the next set that looked in War of the Spark that looked amazing. It's like
it could be any card, I guess. Yeah, it doesn't have to be Burn related.
Yeah, I don't remember what it's called. It's people holding.
This is very helpful.
It's people holding a picture of like someone who's died in a battle. It got spoiled like a couple days ago.
Let us know in the comments section.
Yeah, they're sad because someone died. It's like a solemn. It's like a funeral procession or something like that.
Okay.
Outside of that, off the top of my head, I really like the lands. Like, does the lands count as card, right?
Yeah, sure.
I really like the BFC basics. Generally speaking, those are really some of them. The ones I play with. The Mount.
BFC?
So BFZ.
Oh,
BFZ.
BFZ.
Yeah, the Battle for Zendikar basics. Those are really nice. Here's one. Is it Misty Rainforest that has all the birds in the
Expedition?
In the expedition?
Yes.
That one.
I think, yeah.
Misty Rainforest Expedition. Amazing art. Yeah, there's also some, I think, Shadowmoor Plains that look really sort of scarecrowy and scary. I like those ones.
All right.
Okay, yeah.
So, a joke question. Being a Burn player, do you like spicy foods? And if so, what kind?
I love spicy food. The problem is it really hurts my stomach like an hour later, so I usually avoid it. It's also like that line from Pulp Fiction. My wife really doesn't like spicy food, so it's kind of like that line that Samuel L. Jackson says. He goes, My girlfriend's a vegetarian, which
Yeah.
pretty much makes me a vegetarian too.
Good spicy
So
food.
yeah, so you know, even though I do a lot of the cooking, I'm not allowed to make it spicy. I like spicy Mexican food, like burritos, things like that. I like I like stuff like that. Big fan of spicy food. Spicy meatball,
Yeah, spicy
not
meatball.
chubby meatball. Spicy meatball. Hashtag spicy meatball.
All right, so going on to Clay Figure 7. Design your burn card for 1, 2, and 3 CMC. All cost modifiers allowed. One additional effect allowed. Also, do you think Pyroblast is good for Modern?
That's a really hard question to answer on the spot. Well, what did we talk about? Okay, no, we talked about a couple. Okay, I had a 1-mana Skullcrack. We had
And a 2-mana
and a
Skullcrack.
2-mana Skullcrack that can target creatures. Okay,
So, yeah.
and then wait, it has to be completely made up because can I just say Sulfuric Vortex for 3, or does it
Sure. Yeah, you have to make it up.
for 3 mana? What do I really want out of 3 mana?
Rampaging Ferocidon is an enchantment.
I was gonna say like Rampaging Ferocidon is really good, but I actually like the fact that it has a body better. For 3 mana, anything that could deal 5 damage with at instant speed with a condition that's pretty easy to make. I've thought about playing this ridiculous card as a 1-of a few times. It's a 3 mana instant. I forget what it's called. But it's got what's the thing when a creature died this turn? Morbid. I think it's got Morbid, and it's a 3 mana bolt. But if a creature died this turn, it's a 5 damage 3 mana instant speed spell. So it's pretty good, right? But 3 mana, it's like and like when you don't know a creature, like what happens if you go against like Ad Nauseam? What do you like bolt your own creature to deal? Like this sucks, right? Like I don't know. I'm just whatever. The point is a little too conditional. So if there was an easier condition to meet, a really good example of a card that I would probably think of that does exist like this is something like Exquisite Firecraft, right? 3 mana, 4 damage, but it's uncounterable with a condition that's pretty easy to make. Great design. Great design on that card. Love it. So something along those lines.
Okay, so some additional questions. Light Up the Stage and Risk Factor are interesting card draw spells that they love to play with. Are they too slow / situational for the burn deck to justify mainboarding them? Fun versus Bauer.
I really like. I don't say really like. I think you could run Risk Factor as maybe like a 1 or a 2 of, like just for fun in Modern Burn. The problem is when you get more than that, more often than not, you'd rather be drawing bolts or anything else that the deck already plays. But as like a 1 or a 2 of, I wouldn't give anyone a hard time for playing Risk Factor. I think it's totally playable, especially if you're running a 20 land build, but even 19 land build, that's fine. Go ahead.
What are your thoughts on a burn cantrip?
Like something like Light Up the Stage?
I guess so.
I really like Light Up the Stage in the red-black version. In traditional red-white burn, I think there's too many times when you're kind of tapping out to play this card, and then you'll hit like a 2 mana card and maybe like a land or something. Like you're kind of like you're getting card advantage, but there's so many times in Modern right now where card advantage isn't even what you want, right? You're dying on turn 3 or turn 4, like Amulet Titan's getting a busted draw and killing you on turn 2, right? Like there are some times when drawing more bolts isn't really great, right? Like if Rock or Jund or something becomes a huge part of the metagame, then like, you know what? Okay, like this is actually probably, at least in the sideboard, we can totally throw these in. So in a casual local environment, I think you can get away with playing these a little bit. In a really competitive, spiky environment, less so. But yeah, Risk Factor is at a low number, like 1 or maybe 2 copies. Risk Factor is totally playable.
All right, moving on. Sky Spider, the Arachnid Master. Love yours and Nikachu's videos. You guys have opened me up to the modern world and finally got me to enjoy the format fully. As a question, do you guys ever play EDH? If so, what are your favorite commanders? Secondarily, when can I get you in my stream for an EDH popper or something else?
I have a lot of friends who play EDH. And I really like I love the format. The problem is I have trouble making time for it, as well as like modern and stuff. And I prioritize modern. And if there's a limited format that I'm really really in love with, I'll prioritize that first. So it's always at the bottom of the ladder, and I never really make time for it. That being said, for a long time I did own a Prosh Sky Raider of Care or Cure, no Care, EDH deck that I affectionately called Taking Care of Business.
Well, how often do you play EH?
But that's the thing. I was playing this like once or twice a year.
Like in our group chat, he keeps talking about cards he wants to buy for his EDH deck, and he like doesn't go play EDH. Like he talks a lot about buying and selling cards. That's a lot in our group chat.
Not a lot about actually playing them. Yeah.
And man, there were some good long months. This is Tarmogoyf Generation 2. There used to be Future Sight Tarmogoyfs that he took a very long time before he bought, and then he spent a lot of time trying to consider to sell, and I helped him sell them at a GP. And then he bought the Tarmogoyfs again.
But then not my finest hour. Not my finest hour.
I don't play EDH just because I have zero time for it. I have to be because of the YouTube channel. Actually, I have to. It's either modern or nothing. It has to be contributing to the YouTube channel, and Commander does not. Aside from collaborating with like the Spike Feeders once. Yeah, I do not play EDH. But when I played with the Spike Feeders, I played with Thassa. I actually like that for a commander.
It's a good deck, yeah.
It's scrying.
And then it's funny again. So I got rid of Prosh because basically when I put it together a few years before and then never used it for a few years, I think the deck cost me something like $400 to put together, right? Also, and that includes like the revised duels and stuff. And then a few years later, I'm like, this deck's worth $1,200 trade in. What? I'm never trade this in. Like
the commander cards are worth. That's where the money is.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
The market I'm not paying attention to at all. But
so I got rid of it. Currently, I've been wanting, and then I started to put a couple together so that, again, I could just use if my friends ever did get together and I could make these events. But I purposely had a rule that I wasn't spending more. I wasn't going to use any cards that cost more than $15 because then I would just want to trade them in.
Yeah.
So I ended up building this Grand Arbiter Augustine IV deck, and now that deck's gone and exploded. Augustine's worth like probably $25 now, so I'm gonna have to trade in. Right, gonna trade in the commander. It's ridiculous. And so I also bought this the vampire deck from the commander thing last year. I forget the guy's name, but whatever. Yeah, the Mardu colored vampire commander. Mm-hmm. And that one I'll probably keep around, just to have like one deck that I could pick up and play if I ever really needed to. But no, it's just a mess. I end up spending more time going to the store to buy and sell these cards than I actually do playing with these cards. It's not even close. So yeah, that was it. The other problem is a lot of my friends who I are longer friends with, who I actually would play with, took the game a little bit less seriously than I did. So my turns would take forever, and generally speaking, Prosh would just end up destroying all of them because it was like a real competitive EDH deck. And while they had some powerful cards, it wasn't quite the same tuned machine. So it didn't make sense.
How many people were in the group?
Like 4 or 5.
That should be enough for them all gang up on you and kill you.
Well, that's kind of what it was.
What's their deck? Full of grizzly bears?
Well, that's kind of... We're all there to kind of have fun. We're not there to...
Well, you don't know the spirit of EDH.
EDH...
And even if you don't... Like, I've been in multiplayer groups. They all get... But I don't know. I play something and they're all ganging up on me and I'm dead.
Right.
Those grizzly bears are you don't underestimate.
Don't underestimate
everyone attacking you with grizzly bears. I underestimated them, that's for sure.
It's pretty funny. Anyway, so that's my EDH story. In terms of collaboration, I'm sort of in the same boat as him. I have really trouble doing collaboration of any kind.
I don't have trouble collaborating, but I don't have an EDH deck.
Right, and then there's the other thing, right?
I only play EDH because they gave me one.
Right, especially and again, if it were online, right? Like I don't own any of these cards online, any of the EDH cards. I don't. So yeah. Probably not, unfortunately. But I appreciate the shout out and question.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, best wishes to you.
So next we've got Jacob Neal. Thanks for the content. What is your favorite card in standard GRN?
Oh,
Builds a Ravnica.
This one's easier because I've been playing a lot of Arena, so I actually could make. First card that comes to my mind is Chain Whirler. I really like Chain Whirler. Uh,
It's a feel-good moment where you can like 3 for 1
oh,
someone.
it's so good.
Or it's like a 3 for 0.
Especially like
Or
the
is
turn.
it like a 4 for 3? I don't know. I don't know how to.
Yeah, I don't know how you. Yeah, it depends if you
You have a Chain Whirler on the battlefield and you nail 3 things. It's not like you lost anything.
Right.
Yeah, it's 3 for 0.
And if you count like dealing them 1 damage as like a portion of a card or something.
Sure.
Um,
A 3 1/3 for 0. That's what Chain Whirler is.
I'll trade you this for 5/9 of a card. And like, what are you just like? This is the metric system. What's going? You know, the imperial system. What's going on here? So I'd probably say Chain Whirler, or the other one is the one that gets counters. Stops at 4. Use it for mana.
Steamkin.
Steamkin, Runaway Steamkin,
I hate that card.
which means if John hates it, it's automatically a contender for my favorite
I'd
card.
rather see Chain Whirler.
Yeah, no, Steamkin's great.
That's much slower.
If that could be a modern, it's so possible for that to be a modern playable card. Like if you're in the right meta, like if that thing just doesn't get answered right away, it gets out of hand. Anyway, yeah, big fan of that card. Chain Whirler or Runaway Steamkin.
All right, so moving on, we got Brian R. I definitely like the content you've added to Nikachu's channel. I have a hopefully fun question. If you could replace Trudeau with any legendary creature or planeswalker in the MTG multiverse,
this is such a good question.
to be Prime Minister, who/what would be it and why?
Oh, that's such a good question. Oh.
I have no idea. I just don't know the Planeswalkers very well.
Oh, it has to be a Planeswalker? No, it's a legendary thing, didn't it?
Oh, yeah, legendary creature or Planeswalker.
Okay.
I still don't know. No.
This is such a good question. I should have handled these lightning bolts based on quality of question. That was good. Okay. Okay, I got it. Okay. Part of me originally thought something like Grand Arbiter Augustine IV, because, you know, we need to have electoral reform in this country, and he can, you know, work on that, right? Work on the political system. But I think as a leader, I hate Gideon because he's part of the Gatewatch, and I'm really sick of these people. And I want a new crew to be part of the storyline, so I can't choose Gideon. But another really good leader would be someone like a Jenny. And not only that, I just thought of this too, a Jenny has a red-white version of himself. So Canada, red-white colors. So I'm going to go a Jenny... What's the red-white one?
I think there's a few of them. Maybe I'm wrong. It's a Johnny...
Can't remember what it's called.
Lightning Helix.
Exactly. And that's the other thing. It has a Lightning Helix stapled onto it, right? So yeah, the Lightning Helix Ajani would be my choice for Prime Minister.
Is it Johnny Vengeance?
Yes, that's what it is. That's what it is.
The only one I can name.
That's right.
It's probably because it's the only modern playable one.
It's like should be starring Bruce Willis, Ajani with a vengeance.
Yeah. So we got now Dark Shiva Gaming. So you are from Canada, play Burn,
Allegedly,
and you are a Capitals fan. Why not a Calgary Flames fan? Just seems to make sense. Love the content from you and Nikachu. Bonus question: is there a way to stop you from flooding out in your videos?
No, I've tried everything. It's impossible. I can not play. That's the only option. You know what? Maybe risk factor. Maybe that's what I need. I need to start throwing cards away to risk factor. It's funny. I am a Washington Capitals fan in a way because I really like Ovechkin. I've been a big fan of Alexander Ovechkin ever since he came into the league. The guy got another 50-goal season this year. The guy's insane. He's got, I think it's like 8 or 9 50-goal seasons now. He's just a beast. However, I've actually always been a New Jersey Devils fan. So not Flame, so to speak, but, you know, Flame-esque, right? You know, Devils and whatnot. So I think that's pretty on trend, on flavor. But I don't have any issue with the Flames. The one time I kind of had an issue with the Flames was when they made it to the Stanley Cup final and everyone who's literally never paid attention to hockey in their lives was cheering for them. That kind of annoyed me because where have you people been every other year ever? So I didn't really like the bandwagonness of the fans. But I have no issue with the Calgary Flames. Partly because they've never been good, so so they can't. So when you've never really been that good, you don't really beat other teams and piss people off, right? It's kind of why like nobody hates the Columbus Blue Jackets. they've never beaten anyone in their life. So, like,
Not rubbing anyone the wrong way.
right? So, you know,
They've been creating rivalries.
right? You can't create rivalries when you're just like the kicking post for everyone. Yeah, so I have no issue with the Flames. I love Alexander Ovechkin. Really glad he got his first cup. And I've always been a Devils fan, so I actually really, really, really dislike the Rangers and Pittsburgh Penguins and a lot of those teams. But I will cheer for the hometown Jets unless they're playing the Devils. That's the one thing, or maybe the Capitals. It depends. Before Ovechkin had a cup last year, if the Jets had made the finals against the Capitals, I would have been cheering for the Capitals, and I would have been a marked man in this city. That's for sure. Would have been. It's crazy. So yeah, that's my hockey history.
All right, moving on. We've got Itinerant Fisherman says, "Love the content. You're doing a great job, Drew.
That's debatable.
What are the next couple GPs, Magic Fests, are you planning on going to, if any?"
I really wanted to go to Grand Prix Calgary or Magic Fest Calgary this month. It just didn't work out. School was too busy. It was really, really close to being able to go, which is unfortunate. But again, it's just a little bit too far away, right? Like, I think Calgary is something like a 12 or 13-hour drive from us, right? Which is just such a
you
mess.
Plus Rodney and Mark can make it work.
Hypothetically,
we needed to. Well, whatever. We had to commit to it a lot earlier. Rodney was asking us.
The other problem is I've done it too many times. I never, ever, ever want to go to a Grand Prix or Magic Fest and have to leave the Sunday night ever again. It's a disaster waiting to happen, and it's just a total mess, and I hate it. You really, to have a good time, in my opinion, where you can just relax, enjoy the festivities, make it worth your time to go if you're flying or driving that distance, you need to be able to leave on the Monday, free and clear, in my opinion, which I wasn't able to do for the one in Calgary. The other thing is I didn't have any buys or anything, right? And if I did want to do well in the main event, I've never had buys in a main event of a Grand Prix or Magic Fest ever, not once in my life. And
so you've never even had one?
Never had a single buy.
That's a play from round. I don't even know how you do that.
You got to show up early. It sucks.
You have to just play at the local game store or on some semi-regular basis.
Well, there's a ton of local Grand Prix trials that I was made the finals of but never won, right? It was just a bunch of stuff like that. It was
another thing, if you just play I don't know, 3 or two GPs. I seem to just play 2 GPs a year, and I always have one buy.
Right, and that's the thing, right? Me getting out to fly, right? Because we have to, if you can go to 3 GPs a year, which it's really hard to do if you live in Winnipeg, right? Then you get a couple buys. But I just
or if you have a bunch of expendable money, we can make it easy.
Yeah, that's another thing.
You want to fund Mark keep talking about we should start kickstartering our GP trip.
It's not the worst idea.
Who knows what happens?
If
just
one of us
throw it out there.
If one of us ever becomes a billionaire or wins the lottery, honestly, I think we should just get a tour bus and just go. We should just do the SCG circuit.
It might be cheaper that we just fly everywhere.
That's possible. Oh yeah, with gas being what it is now. Yeah.
Tour buses are
hashtag carbon tax. Johnny Vengeant would have put in a carbon tax.
Yeah, that's right.
Actually, I shouldn't make this political. I actually do not care about carbon tax. Let's make sure this stays relatively apolitical.
Well, what about Minneapolis? Are you gonna go to,
oh, right, sorry, yeah. So that's what I wanted to. Sorry. The other half of the question. We are.
No, there was only one half of the question. Are there any you were going
right, that's the first half of the question. Whatever, maybe I misspoke. GP Minneapolis, this August 9th, 10th, and 11th. We will be there. Absolutely. I don't know how many other members of Team WoW will be there, but Day 2 Dryden and Nikachu and likely Rodney.
Probably me. The only thing stopping me is maybe a summer course, and they have an exam on that day.
Okay.
But
I will be there. I will be at Grand Prix Minneapolis.
We might screw school in summer. So I can
If you're gonna blow it off, Magic Fest is a good time to do it.
That's right.
I'm trying to get out of saying Magic Fest, but I really.
No, there's not called Grand Prix. It's just the whole convention is a Magic
Fest.
Really? So the event is still the Grand Prix.
Oh, that's finally a good decision on Wizards' part by naming. That's actually a really smart thing, so I can say Grand Prix and not feel like I need to correct myself. Okay,
it's still Grand Prix Minneapolis.
Nice.
It's just the whole convention. It's just an event that's held at Magic Fest Minneapolis.
Now I understand. Okay, I didn't ever realize that. Cool. All right, so yeah, Minneapolis, August 9th, 10th, and 11th.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's my plan anyway. Aren't you going to Taipei or something?
I'm going to Taipei, but the question was for you.
Oh, okay. Nikachu will also be at Grand Prix Taipei.
I'll be at Grand Prix Taipei. See you there. So we got Hinev Ja. We have a second question. You were in here twice.
What?
Well, I don't know what order you were in. I don't know. I think this is the first time we're
double dip the chip. Unbelievable.
Second question.
Asked a question. Took it out of your mouth.
What,
and you asked a question.
What will be your choice of commander? One card that burns them all.
Like if I had to create one, you think, or use one that exists already?
I think you one that exists already.
One that exists already.
Yeah.
Perforos is probably the strongest, best burn them all commander. That's a really strong card. It's really, really good, and it gets the job done with burning the opponents. Perforos.
Has good synergy with Master of Waves.
It also, yeah, not in commander, but yes.
Joe Cruz asks, who wins, Burn or Merfolk?
Who's playing?
We're gonna leave it at that.
Okay. It's very likely Merfolk, especially if I'm against a certain someone.
So Julian or something, how did you and Nikachu meet? I remember one time on a live stream you mentioned it was super awkward. Haha, grats on 1 year.
I don't know if it was awkward. It was funny. There were a lot. Oh, here's something we didn't talk about in the story earlier. There were a lot of times because I was always trying these jank, stupid decks.
He had what? Yeah, what was the stupid white card you had in the
I was trying to make. Well, it wasn't even just white cards.
Apostle's Blessing.
Oh yeah,
he had like 4 copies of Apostle's Blessing. And he's like, but the creatures are important.
Well, it was a good thing. Good against.
Why does Infect play it?
Yeah. It was good against Black Green X. They were going Abrupt Decay, and I was going, ha, save it for 2 life. And then go Abrupt Decay second time. Like, ah. And they okay, Liliana. I'm like, oh. Yes, you foiled my plan by playing cards. But yeah, the big thing was that I was trying to make this stupid blue-white version of Merfolk work, which meant I wasn't really running a lot of basic islands, whereas somebody else was.
Yeah. The few times that we were playing very early at these tournaments, I mean, he just slaughtered me.
It just wasn't even close, because I've got Island Walk, and he doesn't.
He's playing with Path Eggs.
Yeah.
You need to be trying, like, and you never drew Apostle's Blessing against me.
No, it was so great. And I had like timely reinforcements, and that wasn't even.
I don't remember.
I probably didn't even bring that in. I was already doing so well between the Wondermine hubs, the glacial fortresses.
Yeah, I was not doing.
Like well. It was ridiculous. It was great. He needed to keep his spreading seasons in against me.
He did not.
No, it was great. Oh yeah, I love that. Okay.
So moving on to Fun Guy 345. Awesome to see you on here. You and the Splicer. Hadn't been on in a bit, was afraid you weren't making content anymore. Do you think modern cards will continue to get more expensive as time goes on? Oh, they want to hear your speculation expertise. What could be done to lower the price of cards? Do you think Wizards of the Coast cares about lowering the price?
I think Modern's always going to have a barrier to entry. Wizards will want you, assuming they don't just go like full digital and stuff, which is also a possibility, just in paper, they want you to buy new product. If you are buying into Modern and stuff like that, you're helping the secondary market, you're helping the local game stores. But Wizards itself wants you to buy premium cards, and they want you to buy new cards. So they're always going to want Modern to be more expensive. That being said, they will also want you to buy these new cards or these expensive cards, right? It's like any business. Well, you're a business guy, right? When they calculate, you're buying and stuff. It's a parabola, right? Like as you're increasing the cost, people are still going to buy it up to a point, and then at a certain point, the cost is going to be prohibitive, and then your sales are going to start going down, right? Like your total sales.
Yeah.
So they want to hit that sweet spot, and they're smart, right? They're like anyone else who's in big business nowadays, who's got money riding on it, right? They're going to completely try to calculate and manage where that sweet spot is between the amount of money they can get out of you and the amount of return that you get from it. So Modern's always going to be expensive to a point. I don't know what that point is. People smarter or who have put more work into it than me would be able to tell you. Although again, that number's going to always change. But they have the ability to do reprints of that, unlike the reserve list. So pretty soon, Modern's going to be sort of the way Legacy is right now, and they're probably even going to put another format in between, like New Modern or something, right? And eventually they'll just stop supporting Legacy events, is my prediction. But that's just kind of what I see likely to happen. But I have no inside information of any kind.
But here's an easy question: what could be done to lower the price of cards?
reprints. Reprints.
Reprint it to hell.
Reprint it, reprint it, reprint it. Oh, or have people like standard or limited more. Modern's very popular. Modern's really, really popular. Not only just because of its affordable legacy in a way, but yeah, it's reprints and.
I don't even know if it's affordable legacy. Like it's like the prices are similar to what legacy used to be a long time ago.
Right, but what's legacy now?
Vintage.
Yeah. Right?
And what's vintage now?
Yeah, and what's vintage doesn't matter. Like it's
Vintage
in
is in
space.
La La
yeah,
Land,
no, it's way out there. It doesn't even matter. We don't even talk about vintage anymore.
Yeah.
Vintage? Talking about vintage?
It was
I just we can play legacy. Anyone who watches football will get that reference. Anyone who doesn't will have no idea what I'm talking about or why I made that voice. It's Joe Mora? Jim Mora, I think.
Whatever.
Who's a football coach.
Moving on. The Cody Hope asks, big fan and longtime Burn player.
Thanks, Cody.
What drew you to Burn and made you decide that would be your deck of choice?
Well, we already talked about why I owned the cards. When I eventually chose to go to Burn, I forget which Grand Prix it was. Which Grand Prix was it? It might have been Oklahoma. But there was one tournament where I just got so sick and tired of trying to fight against these oppressive, strong decks that are casting like Tasigur and Gurmag Angler for 1 mana, and then going like Kolaghan's Command and Snapcaster Mage and to get Kolaghan's Command back. And I ended up, I remember specifically this one match I lost to Grixis with Merfolk, and I had them at 1 life. I got them down to 1 life, and then they were able to just top deck for a couple turns in a row, and then the game was over after that. And I thought to myself, like, I just need more reach. I just need to race and win. I'm tired of this. I'm just going to beat face and, like, win before they can. Enough of screwing around.
Right.
And then after that, I sort of never looked back.
What's funny is you still hate playing against Grixis. Playing Burn didn't change anything.
Tasigur is like the worst.
And Collective Brutality.
And Collective Brutality, and like, oh my god, they just can't let the Burn deck ever be like solidly tier 1.
I'm gonna move to Burn because I'm gonna have a good matchup against Grixis. Anything. No! It didn't work out. The plan didn't work out.
It wasn't against Grixis, but we were good against everything else. Turn 2 Tasigurs are hard to beat with your 3/3 Wild and the Cattles. There's just no getting around that. Anyway, so yeah, that's my story about that.
Okay, so we got Dean Mirana. Is there a channel, streamer, person, whatever, that is like, can't miss content for you? Other than Nikachu, of course. Who do you watch regularly?
You.
I don't even know this.
You, funnily enough. But other than you...
It's great, I watch me.
I'm sure there's some sort of psychologist who could help you with that. It's funny. I really like Goldfish content.
Oh my god.
Well, just because like a lot of the time when I'm watching this content, usually what I'm doing is I'm like doing the dishes or making something, so I don't really have to watch what's going on. I can just hear. I can just hear the goofiness.
Saffron Olive just has that voice. You can listen to him talk all day.
That's the problem, though. If my wife is ever home, she can't handle his voice. And so if Saffron Olive's on
love him or hate him.
Yeah, she'd be like, turn that off. I'm like, so I can never really watch the videos, which honestly, I'm not really that broke up about it. Magic content, I never ever miss. It's tough because most of the things you know what I watch a lot of because I can't play the format because Burn just isn't strong enough to consistently do well. I watch Menguchi's. I watch Menguchi's legacy videos. I watch those a lot.
Okay.
And I used to really hate Alpha Investments. I used to think Rudy was just this like smarmy, like I think I'm funny but I'm not, like just goofball. And he kind of still is. But I watch like every Alpha Investments video now. I really like Rudy's videos. I do. Yeah. So those would be.
So does the community. He's like he's a little over 200K now.
Good for him.
Subscribers.
Yeah, good for him.
All right. So, we've got Madison GG Gibbons.
Who? Never heard of her. She's with the spike feeder now. She's dead to me.
1. If you could collaborate with any existing YouTube creator, who would it be and why?
Oh, that's a good one too. Good questions. Part of me wants to say the professor, just because it would give me a lot of publicity. He's got good reach, and he seems like a decent fellow.
I think you two could get along.
Probably. We're supposed to get together for a beer the next time we're both at a GP, but it hasn't happened yet, and that was like 2 years ago. We talked about that. Anyway, or maybe it was about a year ago. Doesn't matter. Anyway, outside of the professor, anyone else? Anyone else who comes to mind?
Maybe the spike feeders.
Who? No, I would work with the spike feeders. No, absolutely. Actually, again, I'm not like an EDH specialist or anything, right? But no, the spike feeders are really, really good. It's hard for me. That's actually really embarrassing.
They'll make you the deck. They made my deck.
They would have to. Again, I own some of the cards. I forgot about the spike feeders, and that is embarrassing. I'll apologize right now.
Well, you didn't have to admit that. Now
it's pretty obvious. We've got a good microphone here. It's pretty obvious what to say. But part of the reason why I'm trying to save a little bit of face here is Madison. I consider to be sort of a friend of mine.
So it doesn't feel like a collaboration.
Right, as well as Yan, the local judge, who also is a member of them. So for me, that's almost like me sort of hanging out with my friends, right? To me, like the way that I was thinking about the question in terms of a collaboration, it didn't really feel that way. But no, I would 100% work with either of them. And yeah, I don't know, almost anyone really. If I ever had the time, that's the thing. That's the tough thing.
Yeah, time in the summer.
Right,
Summer's coming around.
Right. Pleasant Kenobi seems like a decent guy. I started watching some of his stuff lately. He seems funny. He seems like almost like a saffron olive.
He seems funny. I mean,
well,
the whole foundation of his channel is comedy. Foundation of mine is not supposed to be comedy, but if you laugh at my content, that's fine with me.
Yeah. So I like him. He seems like he's got a good. He's like saffron olive, but he plays tier decks.
Does he?
Well, a couple times I watched him. He was playing. Like,
are you actually watching the videos?
Apparently not. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I just outed myself as.
He adds like Emrakul and Minotaurs to archetypes.
Okay, so maybe he's more like saffron olive.
Yeah.
Maybe I should watch more of his content. You know what? He had a burn. He played. Not Screw the Critics, the new one. He played Light Up the Stage and Burn recently, and so I wanted to see what his results were for that. Maybe that's why I considered it a tier deck. But yeah, anyway. But yeah, Spike Feeders, the Professor. I like the Professor.
All right, number 2. Have you ever had a moment where you wanted to quit Magic, and if you
oh my god,
tell us about it?
This week.
Every week.
Oh my god, this week was so brutal.
Every GP, it looks like he's going.
Also, every GP, you got to be kidding me. Again, I went 4 and 5 or 5 and 3 or something. Oh my god. Anyway,
he's a huge tilter. Actually, I don't know. He may look really calm and composed, but like he has liftoff.
When that snowball gets going, it gets going. It snowballs in a hurry. Yeah, this week was brutal. I made some brutal misplays at a local game store and went like a horrible like 0-3. Followed that up with like another like 0-4 in a legacy league. Following that up with like 2-3 in a legacy league. I said to a bunch of people, I've never lost as many games of Magic in a week as I just did. Like this week was brutal. But honestly, I think it's just a lot of undue pressure. I think I really need to work. Actually, hey, you know what? Here's an answer to that collaboration question. A guy that I really, really like, who doesn't really make Magic content specifically, but he's sort of a sports psychologist.
Like content-ish.
Content-ish.
Applies to Magic.
Is
Jonathan
Will.
Yeah,
Jonathan. What's his last name?
I think it's Will. Jonathan Will.
No, it's not Jonathan Will.
Not Jonathan.
That's his Twitter handle. It's Jonathan.
Well, that's close enough. Go find him.
Yeah, go find him on
Twitter.
He's got a book called like Mental Magic or something like that. He's really great. Will Jonathan. I think that's his. I think it's the other way around. I think Will. Okay. Yeah, he's written articles for Channel Fireball. He's really great. Just trying to control my tilting is something, right? Like whenever I go to GPs, it's so frustrating, right? Especially when certain people who I'm friends with go like 11 and 4 at worst, and you're sitting there and you're like,
Well,
man,
sometimes I don't make day 2.
I know, I'm just saying, like, it's
Sometimes.
right, but and again, it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter what he does. It shouldn't matter that Mark is just a savant, right? Like, you know, it's just play the game, do the best you can, and it is really, really tough. So anyone who's gone to a GP a few times and hasn't gotten those results, like, there's so much variance in the game, and I need to get better at remembering that. So yeah, this week was tough. Every time I go to a GP and play in the main event, it's been tough.
That's hilarious. This week has been tough. That's how recently he's considered quitting the game.
I considered it for a good 40 minutes, and then I'm like, okay, I'm just being ridiculous. So yeah, good question though.
All right, and then the third one was, which events are you attending this year? I hope you guys come to Vegas. You can hang out with us, the Spike Feeders.
Wait, who asked this question?
Madison. This is all Madison.
Is this still Madison?
This is still Madison.
Oh, she's milking questions. Okay. Well, that's okay. She's good in my books. She's she's a Team WoW alumna. So, yeah, I don't know. Hopefully we can go to Vegas. I don't think it's going to happen personally. Again, you have to fly. And especially when I've got Grand Prix Minneapolis on the radar. I think that's going to be sort of my next...
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. No promises. Can't make promises.
Okay, moving on to Remip Panson.
Bless you.
Yeah, whatever. List beard grooming products / tools you use. Also, are Minnesotans copying the Canadian accent or vice versa?
Canada is like 6,000 kilometers long. There are a number of different accents. Minnesotans and Manitobans do speak very similarly. Whenever I'm in the States, people assume I'm from Minnesota. I tell them, no, I'm from Canada, eh? But I think it's just sort of a similar area. But yeah, Minnesota's a little bit different. You get more of that Fargo in there every now and then, right? If anyone's ever seen that movie, right? That kind of an accent.
No one ever asks.
No.
One predicts where
it's because of your last name. I think they're going to offend you or something. They're like, oh, there's a lot of consonants in this. One thing, I also don't understand the accent thing. Here in Manitoba, we pronounce all of the letters in the words. What do you mean we have an accent? I pronounce the word the way it's spelled. What's your problem?
No, there are some people that have like the Canadian accent.
No,
I definitely can point them out.
No, that's true.
It's not, and I find that it's not even nailed to any ethnicity or anything like that.
There's a lot of people in rural Manitoba who have a very distinct accent. I think it's partly because there's a large Mennonite community in rural Manitoba. I think there's a lot of part of that. So you get a lot of that like low German, floating in there. What was the other part of this question?
What do you use to groom your beard?
Nothing. This is ridiculous. I am not a pretty man. I'm married. I don't need to try anymore. Like, this is ridiculous. Honestly, I have a beard trimmer, an electric beard trimmer. Whenever I'm not lazy, I'll take it off. Sometimes I'll put a guard on if I don't want to be lazy for a while. It's like that simple. I don't do anything with this. Oh, sometimes I'll get the neck. I got the neck beard going on right now. It's real ugly. I put no work into my face for like over a week.
All right.
But I appreciate if it works for you, then thank you.
Okay, so here's the original first question from Abhinav. Hey Andrew, love your content, man. Any tips on how to start with a modern burn deck and how to upgrade to a full burn? That is, what cards to prioritize first. So this is like more about how to go from like poor burn.
Yeah. If you can afford the mana base, then obviously get those. Scalding Tarns aren't getting cheaper anytime soon. All those things. If you can afford the mana base, get that. If you can afford any part of the fetch lands, get that. Otherwise, mono red is very playable. The decks you're going to lose to, most of the time the decks you're going to lose to, you're still going to lose to with mono red, with things like Skewer the Critics.
Maybe we should. We could upgrade Hazaret with Skewer the Critics.
Hey, that's a good idea.
Because someone made day 2 of a GP with Hazaret, actually.
Yeah, and it still gets around Chalice and things. We want to use that like we had. Yeah, that's a really good idea. That's a really good idea.
Because we had some real weird cards to fill in.
It was strange. Yeah, we had like Flames of the Blood Hand and stuff. Bottom line is there are enough playable red cards you can make a mono red list work.
Well, Hazoret's coming back. We gotta just screw the critic.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, and Hazoret's coming.
And light up the stage, and that probably just fills in all the cracks.
And when we did the video the first time, wasn't Hazoret like $20?
No.
It was at one point it was expensive when it was in standard. I think it was near there.
I guess so.
So it might have been at least 12 or 13. So I think it's I haven't looked any time recently.
Well, it has to be nothing.
It's got to be nothing now, right? So no, we can build this for pennies on.
I probably lost all my money. I so rarely sell my cards. I've like thrown away like $1,000 in ticks just not selling cards, forgetting about them in my inventory.
Well, thank God it's worth a while because you're a content producer. So that's the thing. There are enough mono red cards. So buy the cards you can, have like a low curve, have it just be aggro, grind your local events, win packs, and turn it into store credit, and then have your solid play fuel your hobby. You might have to put some more money to it here and there, but hopefully you can have
some money.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you never know. Some people get lucky and they get like a $500 local tournament or something like that, and they can build a deck, and then they've got the deck for forever, right? So that's my advice. Mono red is totally fine. If you can afford lands, get lands. If not, if those are really out of your price range, then get things like Goblin Guide. Goblin Guide is, I don't want to say mandatory, but if you can afford Goblin Guides and can't afford lands, get those first.
Yeah, probably Goblin Guide's the most important card to get.
Yeah, probably.
Over everything else.
Yeah.
The rest is all whatever. Okay, so moving on, we got Donald Davidson.
Double D.
When and more importantly, why did you start attending MTG events like F&M to higher competitive play?
I was having a really hard time enjoying my life at a certain point. I shouldn't say it that way. It sounds like extra dark and depressing. I was having a really hard time with school. I wasn't really, I didn't have any, again, none of this has changed, right? But at a certain point, I was having a really hard time with school, and I was like slowly like getting hobbies out of my life, like making, and having less time for myself and enjoying life. And I eventually thought, like, I need to get something. I need to find something that I enjoy, do something that's fun, and like, I don't have to worry too much about. I remember like, hey, I used to play Magic when I was younger. Like, let's do that. So I went down to a local game store and I bought a couple of the starter decks that had come out for the most recent set, and just started like goofing around with them with some people who kind of remembered how to play. And then after a while, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get back into this. I'm gonna get into Modern, and a couple of really.
Why Modern? You know, I don't.
Because I wanted the Eternal format. I just like when I was younger, I didn't have the commitment or want to have to continually renew my deck and play Standard,
okay, so
right? Because I wasn't sure.
So you understood right off the bat that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Better.
Oh yeah. Because it was the same like that when you were a kid, right? You're buying the new cards and stuff. No, like just get the Eternal.
Well, when I was a kid, I didn't. Well, no, I guess no. When I was a kid, we had Extended, and it's actually cycled for the first time when I was younger.
Oh yeah.
So when I was younger, there was no permanent Eternal format except for maybe Vintage, I guess.
Well, it was Type 1, right? They called Legacy or whatever, what was probably Vintage then, or at least partly Vintage, but they called it Type 1. There was Type 1 and Type 2.
No, and there's Type 1.5.
Not when I was, not in 98, I don't think. Not 98, 99.
Yeah, there was a Type 1, Type 1.5.
Was there?
Maybe Type 1.5.
All right, well,
was extended. I don't remember.
Go send Simon David Marshall a message. He'll tell you.
They give it real names
but,
at some point.
Yeah, but the point is that I knew I wanted to get into something that I had to do less upkeep with than I could constantly add to.
Oh, so maybe you were around at a time before they finally cycled Extended.
And they definitely didn't use the word extended. I know that. It was definitely before that.
Well, whatever. I started playing around 1999 to like 2002.
Okay. I stopped playing for the first time when I think Odyssey was my last set. Might have been Odyssey Block, but that was when I stopped playing for about 10 years or so.
It's like when I stopped playing. Well, maybe I stopped in Torment or something. I don't know.
I don't know.
I might have stopped.
Maybe you hung out with more competitive players than I did. We used to play in the school cafeteria.
Okay,
I was playing 6-mana dragons with like a bunch of basic lands.
You understood that there's formats that don't cycle.
Yeah.
I just want to play those.
Exactly. Okay, next.
All right.
Still haven't. We still have not reached our winner.
Yeah, it doesn't look like we're anywhere close.
Really?
Edward
Okay, we gotta speed this up. Okay, we're gonna speed this up.
Edward Ryder. Also like to say I really love the content you have done. That's not a question, Edward.
Is that what his comment was?
Yes.
I said questions, Ed. What part of that did you not understand?
Thanks anyway.
You didn't win this anyway, so it's okay. You got lucky. If you had been the winner and that had been like your comment, I would be like, forget it. Re-roll the dice. We're not doing.
Wesley Yang says, "What's your favorite burn variant? One with Tarmogoyf." Also, how should another burn player try to get into the streaming scene?
Oh, get a Merfolk Master for a friend. Like, that's honestly like.
So what's your favorite burn variant?
Favorite burn variant? It's got to be Boros. Favorite? I think that's the strongest. My favorite. You know what? 12 Bolt was fun.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it was competitive, but it was fun. So I'll say that was my favorite.
All right. Any other advice to get into streaming?
I'm not even in streaming. I don't honestly like. That's part of why I'm so amazed by this channel and the people who watch it and stuff. Like, this is. If you told me a year ago this was going to happen last year, I'd be like, yeah, right. This is going to be over after like a month. It's not going to. But no, I don't know. Just try to. No, again, this feels really. I feel bad saying this, but I don't know what to tell you. I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants, and luckily.
I don't know about streaming, but for YouTube, just make videos and throw them on YouTube. You have a Google account, you already have a YouTube channel. Just upload them, and away you go.
Stick with it. I guess that's the one thing. Stick with it and do it for yourself. That's actually that's good advice. Because if nobody watches, whatever, you know, no harm, no foul. You did it for yourself. It was maybe a fun, creative project. And if people do watch, well, then you kind of build on that. That's the only advice I can give.
All right. Got Robert Benson. Other than Burn, what are your more prized Magic cards?
Other than Burn.
Burn.
I actually have a really good answer for this.
And it's not Tarmogoyf.
And it's not Tarmogoyf. No, they're worth nothing.
He's got this. Look at this.
What? Here, you find it.
Here's my. What is that? You can make a whole video out of this binder.
Okay, well, I'll do that. It's for this.
Look at this. Day 2 Dryden wanted to sell this. What is this? Collector's Edition, Lord of Atlantis, and like Fusion was gonna buy it for like, I don't know, $5 or $5. And I said, don't do that. Hold off. Because like all the other alpha and beta cards are like hundreds of dollars. This thing is somehow deflated. I actually was intending on buying this from you.
I thought about it
at the time,
and I was like, you know what, whatever.
Just to like frame it, I thought like it's because it looks very close to a beta card.
Well, aside from the corners and the back, I think it is. Right?
Well, who's gonna look at the back?
Well,
anyway,
no.
How many do you have? You have
two.
A playset?
No, I just have 2.
It's got 2. Look, this is like beta. It's like beta, except it's not beta.
I love Lord of Atlantis. That's one of my favorite arts, actually. I didn't mention that earlier in the video.
Anyway, I don't know what this is worth now, but like definitely one of them is worth more than $20.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, you haven't looked at the price of these things?
No.
I have no idea what they are, but they're worth their money.
Okay.
Money.
My was it prized cards? Is that what it said?
You got some screwed up cards in here.
Yeah, these are awesome. Okay, these are really cool. So again, this is a throwback to when I first played Magic. So
and me.
And you, yeah. So I really liked these cards. Because for one, they're a throwback to pre-releases I actually attended when I was like, when I was like 13 or 14. And not only that, but again, like I mentioned earlier, I have a degree in ancient Greek and Roman history. So there's this card here. Let me try to hold up this. Wait for it to. There we go. Cavu. The foiling's bad. Cavu Ferens, which is. I think it's Ferocious Cavu or something, or Cavu something. But basically, it's a card that's a pre-release foil copy of a card that they printed in Latin. Right, so this one's in Latin, which, of course, big fan of that based on my Greek and Roman language teaching. I know Latin, actually. Oh, yeah, okay. I don't spec a lot, but I might have spec'd on Donate a little bit. I might have bought a few copies of Donate recently. Waiting for that one to go up. Anyway, but it was part of the whole block.
If Donate went up, it's because he bought them all.
I bought them all, every one of them.
All gone.
Then it was for the block, right? So that Cavu is from Invasion. Next is Plane Shift. So it's questing Feldgriff, and this one's in Greek. I don't know if it's ancient Greek or modern Greek. I'm not sure. I can't tell the difference. I don't in writing, but yeah. So that's another cool one, right? Ancient Greek, big fan of that. Then the next one, Apocalypse. Okay, so again, foil pre-release promos. Fungal Shambler, I think it's Fungal Shambler. This one's in no, not Sanskrit. I can't remember which one. Okay, either this one is Sanskrit or the next one that came out in Odyssey, a Stone Tongue Basilisk, is also in an ancient language. This one might be Sanskrit. I don't know those ones. So yeah, these are probably my favorite cards, and they cost me nothing. I bought them for like $3. I'm like, I'm never gonna play these. I'm never gonna use these. But you know what? They're classic. They remind me of when I was a kid, when I was going to these pre-releases, and the ancient language is a nice sort of connection to my current life and schooling that I've done. So yeah, these I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of this classic lineup of pre-release cards. Big fan of this. Yeah, yeah. I'm awesome. That's fantastic. I forgot about these. What else is in there? Anything that caught your eye?
Yeah, everything. I have no idea why you own these cards. I have no idea.
Well, again,
like, also looking at some of these cards, you know, when you make your own YouTube channel, you should have like some speculation Saturday or something.
Oh my god, it'd be so bad.
It's not no actual advice. More like just this is what I'm doing.
Forget speculations. It's me like sunk cost Saturday.
Yeah, sunk cost Saturday.
That's actually a good name. I should.
There's definitely a lot of cards in there. I'm sure he thought they were going to go up, and didn't turn out that way.
I know for a fact I bought those stupid Abrupt Decays at like $8 each. They're worth like $2 now. It's brutal.
Okay, I once bought a foil Abrupt Decay for $80.
Whoa!
I think I sold it for $15.
Cool. All right, so yeah.
Back in the day. Anyway, that was hilarious. Replicant says, I will say this, we love all three of you because you put your heart and soul in the channel. And we all appreciate it. You guys are the best.
Thanks.
What? No, that wasn't a question. All right, whatever. Moving on. Oh,
you're lucky you didn't win either.
We've got Hans Bauer.
Oh! Do we say it now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
You're in.
Woo! Hans Bauer. Hans Bauer. You are our winner. Maybe it's Hans. I'm gonna pretend it's Hans because Hans Gruber from Die Hard. So you know, Hans. Now I have a machine gun and bolts. Hans, you are our winner of the... Here, I'll hold them so you can actually see the signature. Maybe that's a better idea.
Beautiful lightning bolts.
Beautiful lightning bolts. White bordered, but Troll City. And if anyone asks, again, I don't know, tell them Chris Rush signed it or something if you want. I don't know. Tell them Justin Trudeau. Or
tell them Andrew Day 2 Dryden.
Or Andrew Day 2, yeah.
And then send them to the channel.
Or even better, you should attend a Magic Grand Prix and make the final with these bolts. So we'll be like, oh, who signed those cards? That doesn't look like any Chris Rush signature I've ever seen. Well, actually. And you get Cheon and Marshall talking about, like, kind of weirdo signed these cards. So yeah, Hans Bauer. Okay, so Hans, what's Hans's question? Did he ask a question?
By the way, get in contact with one of us, either Andrew on Twitter or me on Facebook or Twitter. Just contact, and I'll get the information, Andrew.
Yeah.
So what kind of people does it take to play Burn? How do you see Burn as comparison to other decks like Merfolk?
That's a good question. What kind of people does it take to play Burn? People who are impatient.
Oh yeah, this is definitely definitely a characteristic of Burn players. I can even tell in the comment section. Just do something already! You're taking too long to just play Lightning Bolt!
Yeah, I'm playing around like 3 cards and like, just do something! Like, do you know how many ideas I'm trying to juggle in my head right now? And I have trouble doing that. Anyway, yeah, no, definitely impatience. I noticed it a lot lately when I was playing Arena. There were a lot of times when my opponent would gain like 3 life, I'd be like, screw this, concede. Like, I'm like, I am not dealing with this, right? Like, or they go like, you know, as soon as they play that black-white land and then they play like gain this life or moment of craving, I'm like, hey, nope, concede. I'm not dealing with this. I'm not playing this game.
It sort of reminds me of whenever I'm playing Hearthstone. Or like I don't play much Hearthstone, but like when I play at a very novice level and I'm up against, I think it's the priest. There's someone that just naturally gains life, and I'm not good enough to beat priest at any. Like no matter what I do, I just can't beat this stupid life gain shit. Anyway, that's the only time I feel like I want to rage quit, like against life gain.
So that's what I say. People who are impatient, And the other part is, what was it?
How do you compare it to other decks like Merfolk?
Burn is a 7-card combo deck. It's considered an aggro deck, and it makes sense why, but it's basically a 7-card combo deck. You're trying to win by casting between 5 and 7 copies of Lightning Bolt. That's what's going on. So you're really resilient to things like Force of Will or 1 or 2 counter spells, but if your opponent is able to just negate all of literally negate your spells, or able to sort of run you out of resources by gaining life and things like that, extending the game, you just can't win. It just becomes impossible at some point. Whereas other decks like Merfolk, for example, you can put 2 or 3 creatures on board, and if you just control what's going on the board and just counter their board wipes and stuff like that, you could win with 2 copies of Lord of Atlantis, just 6 them every turn, right? Like, you could totally just do that. So I think that's kind of the difference, and that's why the impatience is necessary. Like, you really need to be like, okay, I need to cast 7 spells, and I need to do it as quickly and efficiently as I possibly can.
Gotcha. Thanks a lot, Hans.
Thanks, Hans.
Congratulations.
Yeah, again, make sure you get in contact with us for your copies of Lightning Bolt.
Lightning Bolts. Signed Lightning Bolts.
Woo!
We got Edward Ryder. If not playing Burn, what type of decks do you like to play?
If not Burn, I still like to play creature beatdown decks. I really like creature-centric aggro decks.
He likes to play decks that's really fast, and he hopes his opponent does not interact with him.
That's true. Yes. My favorite opponent is the Empty Chair.
Yeah.
But I also like weird, janky stuff that still works. Like, when we played Wizards, my favorite thing in the world was using Nimble Obstructionist to, stifle fetch lands. Or stifle weird triggers. Weird stuff like that. It's fun. Which is one of the reasons why I actually do enjoy playing EDH. I just never make time for it.
Gotcha. Alright, so we got Fiel John Maria. Why do you think Burn is tier 1 right now? In general, what conditions have to be met to make more competitive players choose Burn?
I think against a lot of decks, Burn is not tier 1, but the fact that Tron is relatively popular right now, on top of the fact that it can still produce turn 3 and turn 4 wins. Turn 3 is harder, but it's possible. And sometimes, and turn 4 wins is still usually fast enough that you can get ahead, and just killing your opponent quickly is sometimes a good enough strategy, right? I forget who it was. I think it was BBM one time a few years ago, who I heard say in an interview, what his strategy was for winning a Grand Prix. It's like, my first strategy is that I mulligan to Oblivion, right? My second strategy is that I don't mulligan at all, or something like that, right? Basically...
Who was this?
I thought it was BBM.
Who's BBM?
Isn't it?
BBD?
Yes. That's who I mean.
Yeah.
Brian Bronduin. Yeah, that's... Sorry,
that sounds... I could just tell, because that just sounds like something Brian Bronduin would say.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, he said something... I'm not quoting him exactly, and I forget it, so you should look at it.
Close.
It's very funny, right?
Yeah.
Something along the lines of, my plan is for my opponent to mulligan to 5 every game, or something like that, right? It's just silly. But it's true, right? There's so much variance. It's just the way it is. And if you can just kill your opponent before they can do anything, well, hey, that's a win, right? A win is a win. So against a lot of decks, that's not good enough, and it doesn't do it. But with Tron being popular right now, I would classify Burn as probably tier 1. But man, it's a struggle sometimes. For an aggro deck that people are supposed to be scared of, man, I'm scared of a lot of decks. So I don't know what people are talking about. I don't think it's solidly at the top of tier 1 by any stretch. At least not right now.
Alright, so we got Sam Goldman, who says, so why play
Sammy
Burn?
G.
Why play Burn, and have you tried other non-aggro Burn decks?
Sorry, what is it?
This is exactly how it's worded, but I don't know if he says, have you played a non-aggro version of Burn, or just a non-aggro deck? I mean, we have played non-aggro versions of Burns,
right? Hazaret and things like that. Generally speaking, I usually want to aggro my opponents out. I don't like combo decks, even though, again, in a sense, Burn is like a 7-card combo deck. I don't really like combo decks like, I don't know, Ad Nauseam or things like that. That's definitely not my style. I don't hate control, although I've never really played much of it. I don't think I would hate, just holding up counter spells and being like a jerk. Be like, go ahead, try and resolve something. I don't like your odds. But that's because I would just lose all the other aggro decks and get frustrated and go back to aggro. So aggro non-burn decks. Yeah, I would play like Bushwhacker Zoo. When I played Affinity, that's sort of an aggro deck in a way, although it's got sort of a combo element too, right? You need all your pieces, your Ravager, your Cranial Plating to all work together. But I mean, that deck went on turn 2 and 3 semi-regularly, so that's definitely an aggro deck. So yeah, I would say those are the kind of decks I've used mostly.
All right. We'll move into Dean
Yeah,
Mirana. Do you have a deck that you absolutely cannot stand to play against?
Soul Sisters.
Moving on.
Soul Sisters. I don't think it needs an explanation.
Ice Bearer Angel says first view. Thank you very much, Ice Bearer.
Thanks.
Wumbo, what keeps you coming back to Burn?
Not just this, but this channel is honestly a big part of it.
I'm pretty glued to Merfolk at this
Yeah,
point. I'm not allowed to change, really.
Yeah, and if I had enough time to play Magic 3 or 4 times a week, maybe I'd goof around with other decks as well. But like, I need to stay on top of Burn as much as I can, just for the channel and stuff. There's the channel. There's trying to innovate, right? Like, you try to do some new things every now and then. It's really been really helpful to skewer the critics and things like that. There was last year there were a lot of decks that were running Snaring Bridge or not, so you kind of get to goof around with those cards. At one point, I forget what GP it was because I don't think I went, but there was a Mardu Burn deck that was doing really well. I think it placed 12th for maybe higher at a GP. I don't think it made top 8 though, right? So you kind of goof around with some of these cards. It's kind of fun. And the fact that it stays competitive, right? Like I mentioned earlier, being able to hypothetically just win on turn 3, it keeps a lot of decks honest, and it will just get you a lot of wins just from its regularly available speed.
So Benjamin Eric asks, what is your favorite addition to the deck over the last year, and what is your favorite card in the deck, past or present? What's your favorite addition?
Oh, that's a good card. In the addition the past year?
Yeah.
If it was easier to play, I would probably say Light Up the Stage. But like in Boros Burn, like I don't like it. But in terms of like flavor, design, the fact that it draws cards, it's kind of nice. That's something I'm used to. So in the last year,
there haven't even been that many. It's just like it
hasn't.
Light Up the Stage and Skewer the Critics.
Yeah, it really hasn't. I was gonna say, yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that there has been, but I can't think of anything.
Cinderlines.
It's got to be light. It's got to be Skewer the Critics. Skewer the Critics is really, really good in Modern, at least. Really like Skewer the Critics. Big fan. What was the second half of this?
What is your favorite card in the deck, past or present?
Goblin Guide.
Goblin Guide.
There's just something about those like double Goblin Guide draws on the play. You go Goblin Guide, attack.
Oh, wait, is it double Goblin? You mean the triple Goblin Guide?
Let's not get greedy. Let's not get too greedy here. Come on.
I've lived those days before myself.
Yeah, I don't remember if it was against Rodney or not, but I definitely feel like I've played games against Rodney where I go Goblin Guide attack. He goes like Raging Ravine, go.
That's not a good start.
Right? And I go Goblin Guide attack with both of them. And then
reveal Liliana
and he just
reveal Dark Confidant off the top.
Yeah, right? Yeah, exactly. Or like, I don't know, Huntmaster or something. Huntmaster's not going to get here in time. I'm sorry.
That's going to be wild.
Yeah, nope, not good enough. Yeah, so yeah, it's got to be Goblin Guide. It has to be, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I feel like it has to be.
Burn player, like, Goblin Guide's like the best thing.
Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah.
And then the last question, we've answered it.
Oh no!
From Falcon Lord 78, when will you have your own Burn channel?
Hopefully this summer. Hopefully this summer and this fall.
This summer, coming to YouTube near you.
Coming summer.
Coming
2019.
To mobile and desktop devices.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, I'm glad we finished those last ones. I felt like we were taking a little bit long there, so I hopefully didn't get too long-winded. Lord knows people have told me before that I talk too much sometimes. Yeah, that was fun.
Whatever, this is for the dedicated fans.
Also true. Yeah, again, do what I do. Just put this on while you're doing dishes or something, then watch later, right? You can always come back.
Basically what I do as well.
Yeah, and thank you to Nikachu for hosting this. He's got a busy schedule. I could have just read these off, but I wanted to get some interaction here. We haven't hung out in a while, so it's too late to go play Modern for Thursday night, so I don't know. Maybe I'll play a game online here. Anyway.
You can go buy or sell some cards still. Still have time for that.
It's true. I wonder if they have any copies of donated Fusion Gaming. Could use a few more.
Yeah, he's going to buy out all the donates.
That's true. I actually do want to swing by there and trade in some cards, though, but we can talk about that
later.
we go. Yeah, right? There we go, right? Here, hold on. Let me just text you about it first. Here. I know you're...
What do you want to... I think of all the questions that you ever asked me about finance, I always say, I don't know. I don't even know why you even asked the group financial questions.
I don't either. I really don't. No one ever gives me good answers. I really just want people to talk me down off the ledge. I think that's what it is. I think it's like a self-preservation technique.
Sell all this garbage.
What do you mean garbage? This is great stuff. All right, anyone who cared about...
There's like playsets of Thoughtseize in here.
Yeah, well, I mean... What happens if I run Rakdos Burn and then all of a sudden I need Inquisitions and Thoughtseizes?
So he's got a toolbox for theoretical burn decks. What's with the Eternal Witnesses? What's with the Arbor Elf? I don't even know why he has these cards.
I bought Arbor Elves when I saw an MTG Goldfish video on like a blue-green Emerge ramp deck. Merged out into anyway.
There's like a million Arbor. Is this been only printed once? I don't think so.
It's been printed twice now. It had only been printed once.
Well, if you're going all in on Arbor Elf,
no, I'm not going all in on Arbor Elf. I'm not going all in on these things. I bought these things and they're in sleeves, so they're in the binder.
You've got Utopia Sprawl here.
I bought them when I bought the Arbor Elves.
Oh my god!
It's a combo, John. Do you want? Okay, so here's what you do: you put the Utopia Sprawl on a forest. And then what Arbor Elf lets you do...
Is this the fourth Tarmogoyf, or is this the fifth?
That's the fourth Tarmogoyf.
More Tarmogoyf.
Right, because this is the art I like. This is great art. Anyone who doesn't think this is the best Tarmogoyf art...
I like the original.
You would. Can't even see it.
That's why.
Yeah, that's fair. You know what? I like Tarmogoyfs when I can't see them either. You know why? Because my opponent doesn't play them, not because they're sitting on the battlefield. What else we got a bunch of good stuff.
Yeah, it's like a Fatal Pushes.
Yeah, well, they're modern staples. What happens if I need to...
Kitchen thing. What do you mean, though? Yeah, but you don't switch decks. You don't switch decks.
I could. There's Rakdos Burn now. I need to be ready. Also, I never bought these. Also, I never bought these. I opened every copy here.
I should have sold them instantly. What are they worth now?
I don't know. Trading for like $3 probably.
They didn't really move.
But I opened every one of these. I just bought them as entry packs. Yeah, I never paid money for a Fatal Push.
I'm looking at these pages. The only cards I understand are like the lands.
There's Spellskite. You never know. It's a good card in the mirror. Okay, I'm gonna go through the binder one day for a video. I don't want to.
Yeah, Eldritch Evolution. Yeah, as if people are here, what the hell is all this crap about? One day you're gonna see the binder of.
One day.
That's gonna be a separate. That's gonna be a separate video from your deck.
Yes.
Yeah, you see, here's my burn deck. Another video. I don't know.
The funny thing about my toolbox
is that all the good cards? Like you have a bunch of other boxes here. I see.
Those are decks. Those are those are.
All right.
Those are cards that aren't in Magic decks. There's a bunch of boxes of stuff here. Every Magic player turns into a hoarder. Like they really do. I've got boxes of commons.
I guess it's true. I don't know. As of like last year, I've just tried to strip away everything it's worth more.
I've been trying to
cents.
as well. Yeah.
Goodbye.
Right.
I don't want any more of this pile of crap. Well, I mean, I guess I still kept all the garbage.
But then
who knows? The 50-cent, the 10-cent stuff turns into $3 stuff.
See, it's gonna be the next Metamorphos. You're gonna be like, oh, I got rid of like 10 Metamorphos.
But anyway, I'm getting rid of it. I'm not adding. And now I give it to you. All the bulk.
I'm okay with this.
Every single time we open boosters, and Rodney's the same way. Like, are you gonna use your bulk? I'm like, no, I'm not here. Take all my bulk. Good, take care of it. Yes,
yeah,
that's
no,
fine.
that's fair. It's
kind of free money, but it's
not free labor.
It's not free labor. That's for sure.
Yeah, all right.
I don't want to look at any more buy lists for the rest of my life. I'm done with buy lists.
It is tedious. It is extremely tedious. That is true. I won't lie.
I window shop. That's all I do.
Yeah, this guy's the high roller. I'm over here with the penny stocks. This guy's the real deal. Anyway, this has been our video. Hopefully you enjoyed getting to meet most of me, but us a little bit more. You know, hear about some of our stories. Again, the big thing about this video is just an easy way to try to get to know you all a little bit better. Again, it's a one-way street, unfortunately. But if I ever meet you at a GP, come up and tell me, you know, your favorite art. Maybe you went to those Evasion pre-releases and stuff, and you got your own copy of Cavu Ferens, and that'd be pretty cool. But really big thank you to everyone who watches the channel, supports the channel. It's been a heck of a year, heck of an adventure. And again, if my own sort of startup channel ends up being a thing, that's going to be a whole new adventure, and couldn't do it without all of you. So thank you very much. This has been Andrew. You have anything else to say? Not really?
No.
Okay, fantastic. So this has been Andrew. Day 2 Dryden, recording here with Nikachu for NikachuMTG, and I will see you next time.